Alright guys, here we are, ready for another multiplayer battle. I am leading the High Elves here with a couple units of Rangers. I got some Eagle Hull Bolt Throwers here, and some White Lions of Christ to get in on those infantry. And of course, an Eltharian, the Grim Goon Squad with his noble friends, all riding their buckbeaks together, so that should be super fun. OwnzaurusRex is actually leading the Empire with pretty standard front line, some silver bullets, cannons, Hellstorm rocket battery back here. We actually have a Grey Wizard and of course Carl Franz riding his big tiger eagle kitty cat. Yes, that thing is beautiful, and so is he. Alright. Oh yes, and of course I also brought some Tyrannok chariots here just to try to skirmish them out, and he brought some outriders also for the same purpose. Then we have dwarves over here, and they've got an interesting kind of build here. Definitely expected a little more artillery to come from them, but they really didn't. They brought the organ guns. I was kind of expecting cannons. But they got some quarrelers here, longbeards, great weapons, some miners with the blasting charges, so they can be pretty dangerous to some front lines if they can get it on that. And then, of course, some slayers to take down those beasts. Got to keep Eltharian and the nobles away from that. And the iron drakes with the troll hammer torpedo. Those things can do some serious work, but I'm not really sure how great they're going to do in this engagement. And the greenskins really seem to bring definitely more infantry. Oh yes, and of course they're led by Grombrindle and Felix, along with a runesmith. Interesting. Greenskins have brought some wolf rider archers, definitely to do some of that skirmish work for them. They got trolls and a giant. That giant's going to be right up the center and just try to attract fire and also get in on our infantry. He can definitely do some damage if he can make it. And then we got Grimgor Ironhide trugging up on foot just like he likes to be. Definitely going to do some damage if he gets into melee. And he's surrounded, of course, by his Black Orc pals, which can do some serious work. A little bit of Savage Orcs here on the side, and of course Orc Boy front line. This is definitely going to be an interesting engagement. Alright, Hellstorm rocket battery is firing and shredding into those Orc Boys. Let's get this underway. Alright, so opening up on the trolls in that spread fire mode, which isn't really what we want to be shooting at in that mode. But yes, the Hellstorm rocket batteries are going to definitely do some damage if they can hit, and they do. They definitely melt into those Black Orcs a little bit, taking only out one model though, which really want a little more value out of that. The chariots are coming in trying to get some hits on those trolls, but they definitely don't want to get in melee with the trolls by accident like they just are about to. Now I'm pulling them away. Eltharian the Grim is considering coming in with his goon squad to goon out some trolls, but perhaps rethinks it after seeing all that infantry that's going to come in around him. Outriders, or rather Pistoliers and Outriders, having an interesting skirmish battle here with the Wolf Rider Archers. I have a feeling the Wolf Rider Archers, with support from the blasting charges, are going to kind of overcome those skirmish units, but that's fine. The nobles are kind of coming out and around, hoping to find maybe a squishy troll hammer target or something to try to fire at. Eltharian the Grim here. He's considering going in somewhere, maybe getting a rear charge once his front lines clash. And the Tyrannok chariots are going to go ahead Tyrannok chariots are going to go ahead and pull through and try to get some shots off into those infantry, Savage Orcs, which will do quite a bit of damage if they're allowed to persist. But handgunners are definitely firing in, and Carl Franz is coming in to support. Oh wow, look how much that giant just got shredded by that focus fire. He's just not having a great time. Those cannoners going to town on him. Handgunners going to town on him. He's just stumbling around. He doesn't know what's going on. Noble's kind of just chilling out here. A little bit of a miss micro there. But they're not under fire yet. Eltharian the Grim is thinking about doing something, and he did. A little bit of shooting. Giant fell on his face, but he's getting back up. Alright, Eltharian's going to come in, thinking about doing something. He isn't really sure. Ooh, a little bit of friendly fire there with the Eagle Calls. Alright, Rangers kind of considering moving up in the melee, but also going to let the Empire grind it out. White Lions of Christ went ahead and finished off that giant, which falls on the ground after more cannon fire. Surprisingly, he isn't dead yet, but 14 health is definitely going to be down in a second now. Alright, Rangers thinking about committing to the fight. Not exactly a great fight with the Black Orcs, but I mean, they can do some damage. They got bonus versus infantry. Yeah, oh yes, and Lothar and Sigmar back here are actually going to do a little bit of ranged fire in there. Eltharian's just not sure where he wants to commit, but here we go. Okay, the nobles are committing against the iron drakes here. They got to watch out for those slayers to run in, or even Grombrindle and Felix could do some serious work on those nobles. They definitely are going to want to pull out shortly. And White Lions going in back around for a surround off on the Orcs, who are just getting torn to pieces. Actually, Black Rangers are coming out on the better part of this fight with Black Orcs. Oh, but Wog just pops, so I think that's definitely going to turn around. Grimgore is actually just getting focus fired at the moment, but he's going to run into melee with those White Lions of Krace, which he might enjoy for a second, but they got that armor piercing and decent weapon strength, so they're definitely going to start pushing through Grimgore a little bit. He's already pretty hurt. Well, one of the nobles actually got caught in a little bit, maybe a little bit by those slayers, but definitely by Grombrindle and Felix. That can really put the hurt on one. The Goon Squad just isn't really sure what to go for here. But the Dwarves are starting to have a little bit more of an exposed line here. You still got the Slayers on the artillery, so it's going to be a little hard to get in on those, and the Organ Guns are actually firing in, trying to focus down Eltharion and his Goon Squad just a little bit. Yes, the Runesmith has committed the battle, but they're kind of getting surrounded here. Fighting Sigmar Sons and all these halberds and everything, it's really just not where they want to be. Like, sure, Black Orcs are generally definitely better than swordsmen, but just it's quantity over quality here. And plus, you got the White Lions of Krace fighting, just not where these Orcs want to be. Oh, Franz is starting to get shredded by a little bit of focus fire, a little bit of too much fighting probably, but overall everything's working out for him. Eltharion is swooping back around, and it looks like, yep, the Goon Squad's going to finish off those Black Orcs. Eltharion's casting a little bit of spells here, healing up Carl, I believe. Alright. Rangers going to go ahead and run at those Slayers, stop them from getting in on the gushy handgunners here, and they really have to. They do pretty well against the Slayers. They got the anti-infantry. They're going to definitely match very well against the Slayers. And the Tyrannoch Chariots are just going to continue to harass the crap out of those Iron Drakes, which are trying to support their Slayer friends, and definitely going to hurt the Rangers. Rangers don't want to be there for long. Alright. Noble thinking about another target to go for. Not 100% sure where he wants to put him. You know, Tharion thinking once again about committing himself. Man, he's racked a couple kills, but not really a lot. White Lions doing fine. And oh, that's definitely going to hurt the Dwarves. Those Longbeards are just not going to enjoy that. And they're going to continue in combat with the Rangers, which... Oh yes, with Hand of Glory Pop, they're definitely going to get torn up by those Rangers who have already an anti-infantry buff. Eltharion coming in to take out some of those Quarrelers, and it looks like the Noble is going for some of that, those wavering routing units. Definitely wants to try to finish those off. White Lions coming in for a charge on the Slayers, who are finally cutting through the Rangers, but look what those Rangers did to those Slayers. I mean, this is not a fight that you want the Slayers to be in. Those Rangers are going to cut through those Slayers pretty good, and while the Slayers may come out on top, they are unbreakable after all. Those Rangers are just putting so much damage on them, and it's just not a great trade. And also, we got Felix here, and Grombrindle and support. Definitely a bit of a problem. Noble look like he's coming back from chasing some routing thing off. A bit of a mosh pit here against these Longbeards who are holding on against literally everything, including Carl. And Eltharion's going ahead and taking out some of these Quarrelers. And Noble's getting in on some of these Trolls, but he probably wants to get out of there. Those Trolls are starting to hurt. They got that armor piercing, and he's not going to enjoy being there for long. But he's going to go ahead and rethink some targets. Maybe going in for these miners? No? Possibly? He's going to go for something. And Eltharion, he's easily going to be able to match up against those Quarrelers. Should route them off the field in a minute. Not too much of a problem for him. Night Goblins aren't either. Rangers and Halberdiers fighting the Longbeards. Definitely a fine engagement for them. Not a big deal. The Longbeards are going to be able to hold out for a little bit, but with any support, they're going to get wiped out pretty easily also. Handgunners are firing in. They've not really been disrupted that much this game, so they've definitely been able to get their value off. Let's see how many kills they got. Oh, whoa, wow, look at that. 124 kills on that one, 46 kills on that one. If they maybe reposition a little bit, I think they might be able to even get more. And Silver Bullets at 35 kills, so that's not too good, but they've also been firing in on this Iron Drakes, which is a target that needs to go. Look at that, the White Lions are still fighting in here with a little bit of a mosh pit with Felix and Grombrindle. And, oh yeah, brave 4 Slayers running in to fight. They're definitely going to get torn to pieces, though. There's not a whole lot they can do. Noble's kind of in a bad position here. If these Trollhammers decide to really fire in on him, it's not going to be fun, and the Quarrelers already are. Well, Franz here now, pretty low health, but he's fine now. There's nothing really that can threaten him left on the field, besides like Grombrindle or something. Oh, and here the Rangers are not having a great time. They've been beaten with axes, but hey, you know what? They've held up pretty long against the Longbeards, and they've kind of done their job, just tying those units down. That's pretty much what they wanted to do anyways. Look at that, Hellstorm rocket batteries used all of its ammunition. That's something you don't want. You want to be able to shut down those Hellstorm rocket batteries, you want to be able to shut down those cannons, but neither happened, and even the Eagle Cobalt throwers did all their work. Just not fun at all for them. Handgun, just gunpowder racking up kills pretty much. And here we go, Franz chasing off the Runesmith, and we pretty much have a mass route here. Grombrindle is hiding somewhere, yep, because he is unbreakable, so he's going to be in combat here a little bit. Any of the units that aren't broken are being chased off now, and everybody's probably going to come back and converge on Grombrindle, and that's the fight. It was a good one. Let's see here. So, not bad. Eltharion really didn't get his gold value out, but neither did the nobles, but you know what they did do? They tied down certain units and they chased some units off the field. The Rangers actually did quite decent than I expected. I never really run Rangers, so it was kind of neat to run them and see them hold pretty well. White Lions didn't really get their gold value back. Actually, this one did, just barely. But you know what, they tied down Grimgore. I think that's where that gold value came from. Lothern Seaguard, of course, doing what they do best and shooting things and maybe stabbing a couple things in the process. The Dreadnought Chariots didn't have a great time with harassing. They definitely could have done better, but they got tied up in melee once or twice, and it wasn't fun for them, but the Eagle Claw was able to fire the whole time and definitely did get its value back on that end of things. OwnzaurusRex did excellent with Carl Franz here, just causing a lot of damage, and yes, Carl got hurt pretty bad, but that doesn't really matter, because in the end he came out on top. And the Wizard cast a few nice spells. The Sigmar Sun's always good, Unbreakable, doing quite well. The front line just did its job, generally speaking, holding. Hellstorm Rocket Battery, look at that, 1700 gold value. That is really nice. Cannon, 1800 gold value. Yes, they did their job. You have to shut those down if you're fighting the Empire. And those handgunners, look at that. Look at that. Well, 900 gold value, okay, that's pretty common, but look at that. 2,000 gold value there, almost 2,000 gold value there. It's freaking excellent. I mean, on the Greenskin side of things, Grimgore did okay. He got like 1,300 gold value, but really he can do better, generally speaking, and he got kind of deleted. Black Horse, though, got 122 kills there, but they were not fighting. They never really just had the engagements that they wanted to be in. And the poor Giant, just 0 gold value, got completely shredded on the approach. Just not where he wanted to be at all. There's no screening. He was just... He was a tank, but he didn't do anything other than tank. So, Dwarfs did okay. The Slayers just... Nothing really got their gold value back here, except for the Organ Guns. Definitely doing their job at 2,400, but they probably could have done a little bit better, but overall they did alright. The Trollhammer Torpedoes did okay, but they were kind of harassed and trying to not get killed the entire game. Grombrindle definitely could have done better himself, but he did alright. So, in the end, it looks like the High Elves and Empire came out at the top, so thank you for joining us, guys.